Good afternoon, everybody. It's Connie, and I have so many things I want to show you today, but first I want to show you using this mason jar bouquet set, which is proving to be pretty popular in the new catalog, and I just want to show you some of the things I've been making with it or how I use it. And then the other thing I want to show you right after I do that is I told you I was going to show you the pages we made in the album retreat, and I want to announce the upcoming Close to My Heart events because they're really expanding what they're doing with their online virtual events. And I think that, you know, the hidden blessing in this whole pandemic thing is that companies are realizing that there's a whole lot of us out there who can't just get up and go to a crop or go to a retreat, or, you know, for whatever reason, our schedules, money, whatever, time. And so these virtual events are really huge, and so I want to show you those. But first I want to show you this set. So as you know, Close to My Heart, along with everybody else, has been having some issues getting some of the product from out of the country. Some of the ink pads have been difficult to get. Some of the thin cuts are on back order, or actually most of them have come in now. But when I bought this set, the thin cuts were not available, so I've been trying to decide if I want to buy the thin cuts for this set now that they're available or not, and I just don't think I do. Now that I've messed with it a lot, I don't think I need it. Now, if I was repurchasing it for the first time, I think I'd get the thin cuts, but I wanted to show you what I did with this because you can see I've been making a lot of flowers and little jars, and so I just kind of, you'll notice some of the Hostess Club people will see these on their scrapbook pages, and I made a whole bunch because I was just kind of on a roll and I was kind of having fun with messing around with this stamp set, and I will hang on to these. Sometimes I, you know, tuck them in the envelope, and then when I'm ready to make a card or a layout or something, I'll just pull this out and they'll be ready to roll. So one of the things that is a problem with this is, in order to look nice, the flowers need to be cut out. And so I fussy cut these. Obviously, that's a lot of work. And so I just stamped, like, you know, I don't know, 100 of them or something, and I just started cutting. And for each mason jar, I cut 2 flowers, one here and one here. It looks like more, because I have them all stacked up, but really it's just 2. And I could have added a third one, and I tried it on a few where I added, you know, a third flower set, and it did make it look fuller, but it didn't really seem to me, in my opinion, add so much that it made it all worthwhile. So I just did 2. And so I wanted to show you how I made these. And basically what I did, and I did a lot of the work ahead of time so that you wouldn't have to sit here and watch me color and watch me cut and that kind of thing. But I used the Black Intense black ink because this ink is good for markers, and it's good for watercolor, and it's kind of my go-to ink now. I can use regular black ink on anything else, but if I'm gonna color in things, I like to grab this one. So I basically just stamped this on white cardstock, and you can see I did a whole bunch of them, and I just sat down in front of the TV one night and cut them out. These are a cinch to fussy cut, because you do not have to get in every little groove to make them look right. You can see from the back, I did not cut them like in great detail, and I just did those really quick. And then the other thing that I did was I stamped a second image on vellum. Now vellum is sheer. The only thing we really have in the catalog right now that's like vellum is like the tracing paper, which it's essentially the same thing. And when you stamp on this sheer paper, and you probably have some left over because it was all the rage, within the last 10 years, their vellum was like huge. And you can find it around, but the tracing paper works. Anyway, I just stamped a second image on it. And then I was playing around a little bit. There is a shadow stamp. So there's this stamp, which is the outline. And then there's this stamp, which is the black there, the shadow, to make the jar look a little more dimensional. And I stamped mine in mint. You could use glacier mint or a pale blue or a pale gray. It would look fine. And I tried to stamp it first on the cardstock. See how I have like that blue shadow on there. The problem was when I put the vellum over it, it just wasn't visible enough for me. You can see it, but it's not as good as stamping on the vellum. So I went ahead, and when I stamped the vellum, I stamped the jar and the shadow. I just wanted a little more dimension. The other thing I did was when I cut out the vellum, I cut off the top of the jar so that when I put the flowers in, there would still be a back to the jar. So you can kind of see on my example here, there's the vellum on the front, and then you can just plain jar on the back. I hope you can see that. I wouldn't have had to, but I really wanted this to be a little more dimensional. And so what I'll do is put the flowers on, and then put the vellum on the top to make it see-through, and then you'll be able to see the stems inside the jar. So with that being said, so I stamped a couple of these, and I don't think you want to watch me color all day, but I do want to show you these Triblend markers. I really haven't shown these very much. They come in quite a few colors, and if you are a hostess and you get a half price deal, you can get this entire marker bundle for a song. It is a great deal, and so that is how I purchased mine. So think about that when you're a hostess. There are several bundles in the catalog that are kind of pricey, and doing the half price reward on those is a deal. So I just grabbed, this is the dull green blend, and the way these work is there's a light end and a medium, and then there's a dark. And so, like, let me just show you on cardstock so you can color with, there's the light, there's the medium, and here's the dark. And then to blend them all together, you just go back to the light and you can shade that again. And I think they end up looking really cool when you're coloring something like these flowers. This is a much smaller scale, obviously, but usually what people do is they use the light color, put light, put in a stripe of the medium or dark, and then go back over with the light. But I'm going to do it an easier way because I am not a colorer. I don't like to do coloring like all day. So I'm going to do the dark, and I'm just going to do a stripe on each leaf. Like I said, you probably don't want to sit and watch me color all day. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and you will notice if you get one of mine, it is not perfect. Okay, so I did the dark. I could do the medium. I could do the light. And remember that when you order these markers, of course, since there's 3 colors in one, you know, the markers don't last as long as normal markers. But I can tell you that I have some markers that are almost 20 years old, and they work great, and they're still juicy and good, and I haven't needed to rebuy any of these yet, and I use them a lot. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could go through, this is kind of what that looks like with the dark and light. I think it looks fine, but you could go through and blend a little more, play around a little more with that. The other thing is sometimes I'll take 2 colors and put them together. I really like this pale pink blend, and it's got, you know, 3 shades as well. And you could pick whichever, you know, color that you like the most, right? So I'm going to just go with the dark one. And basically, I'm just going to color in the flowers really quick here. I do not have any idea what kind of flowers these are supposed to be. But in my head, that means they could be any color I want them to be. And then I'm going to use the lightest color of the red, and I'm just going to do the insides like this. I could just color them all red, but I was like being a little bit fussy. I wanted to kind of show you how they kind of go together. I like how that looks. And obviously I like how that looks because that's how I did like all of the ones I made. So now I have a couple of different flower sets, and the other thing that I did to make them fit in the jar better is I did a little surgery, and you're probably gonna go like, but you just colored all that. But I think it fit better and it looked nicer having fewer stems. So I'm just chopping that off at the bottom. It just seemed like, so when you're gonna put them in your jar or whatever, I didn't want all the leaves in the jar in the way. So, and when you put the flowers, you know, in the jar, you don't want them like, they got to be coming out the top of the jar, and that just allows a little more room, right? So a good adhesive to use for vellum is liquid glass. You could use anything that dries clear, but you want to use it in a way where it won't show. So I have a tendency to put it, I like to put it on, come out. My liquid glass is like fussy in that it tends to gum up. It dries so fast. Yep, just like real life. Okay, let's see. So you put on a little liquid glass here, a little bit over, if you put the liquid glass where your stamping image is, it'll be more hidden when you put the vellum on. So you can see I put the adhesive just around the edges, right? And then I'm gonna do a little bit for the flowers. Okay, and now I'm ready to put my vellum on. Oh, one more thing that I did on my, I didn't like, when I used the little tag on this, I felt like it covered up my stems. So I used the green marker to extend my stems more. Like I use this to like color my stems and made them extend into the jar a little bit more because I wanted them to kind of show in the jar. I felt like they were covered up by the little tag. All right. Pinch around the edge. And then see how you can kind of see in all of my samples, you can kind of see I extended, I liked extending the flower stem. And then this part, it looks like it was a lot to cut, but it really, this did not take very long. It doesn't have to be too perfect. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glass on that too. And then this is just the tag that gets wrapped around, you know, like you would wrap a piece of twine. And there are several different messages, you know, that fit on the tag. But I just put "for you" on there with a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little teeny flower on there too. So, one of the things that I did on a couple of the pages, not everybody got a scrapbook page that had this going on it, but I stamped that little tiny flower, like the little bitty one in the corner, one of those, and I stamped them in yellow all over the main jar. And then I used a little black thing to put little dotted wings. And then when I put my vellum on the top, you could kind of see through, and it wasn't so obvious that it was a flower. And I wanted it to look like fireflies, so I did a couple of the pages using the Aurora papers, and I made like a little jar of fireflies. I thought that was super cute. So that is how I did my jars. Now, you would not have to be this fussy. You could do this all on one, just stamp, 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 stamp. You would not have to make it dimensional. But I liked how this looked, and you could, honestly, you can mess around with this any way you want. And I even, on some of them, I made the little bow a color just to add more color to it. You wouldn't have needed to do that either. Okay, I hope that helps you, and I wanted to show you the markers because I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Next thing I want to show you is the upcoming events. Now, this is amazing because Close to My Heart has got a lot of virtual events coming up. So we have on May 21st, there is a Mother's Day event. They're selling a little kit with a special stamp set and some papers where you could buy this and work with them, or you can just watch it live. It's an easy kind of fun thing to just kind of work along with them, and you wouldn't even have to use the same stamp set that they're using, or the same, you could use your own papers and you make their layout. So that's kind of cool. And that's May 21st. That's coming up. And then June 30th. So every catalog in the last, I don't know, three catalogs, what they have done is brought back a pack from the past. I wish I would have made a copy of this, but it is on the website, I think, right now. It might start June 1st. I gotta look that up for sure. But the Bring Back My Pack this time is called the Brushed. And when you see it, everybody will go, oh yes, I remember this, because it wasn't that long ago. And it was so hugely popular. I made our club kit using that brushed paper pack, and I think you'll recognize it if you've been with Close to My Heart for a little while. And it's beautiful. And they are having another similar thing, an online kind of workshop where you can work along with them on June 30th. And that gives you time to order that if you want that particular paper pack. And I think it's on my list. I'm definitely going to get it. So this album retreat was hugely popular, and the National Scrapbook Day thing was hugely popular. So they want to do more of the extended types of workshops where you can buy a bundle of paper or whatever and then put it all together as a group. So there's some sort of workshop that they're putting together at the end of August. I'm excited because that's right around my birthday, and I gotta tell you, the last 3 or 4 years on my birthday, there's always been a hurricane and the weather's been bad. Even though we're not in hurricane land, we get the rain from it, and all the news is all about it. So I'm always stuck at home during this time, and I love the idea of having some kind of 3-day event where I can scrapbook during that. I think that's cool. Yes, I made a book with the rolled flowers. Yes, thank you, Stephanie. I can always rely on you to remember stuff like that. My brain just does not work this way. Okay, and then September 19th, they are going to do another National Scrapbook Day workshop. I do not know anything detail-wise about what kind of pack they're going to use, how it's going to be. I think it'll be very similar to the National Scrapbook Day workshops that we already did, but it'll be a different bundle, a different, different paper pack and all of that. And then finally, the album retreat that we just did, hugely popular. So they're having another one on October 9th and 10th. And the registration starts on August 6th. So I'm going to put this on like a photo on my page, because I want you to be aware of all of the upcoming things, and I will do my best to keep you posted as things pop up. Because what happened with this album retreat was that they had initially only made it for about 100 people to be there in person, and then they opened it up to be virtual and with customers who could attend. And then they did all these pre-cut pages, and when they hit somewhere around 500 or 600 people, they ran out of the pre-cut pages, and then they sold another 200 or 300 packs where people could cut them on their own. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, that would be impossible. But even if you had a Cricut, I can tell you, after I saw all the cuts, and we heard from people posting their experience with cutting their own. Unless you're a Cricut guru, it's a real undertaking. So that made that album retreat so much fun and so interesting. There were 2 or 3 people online here who went, and I thought it was amazing. I think I got so much for my money. And I just want to show you this right here, because the album retreat was $250. Ouch, right? That's a lot of money. And for not knowing for sure what you're going to get, that's a lot of money to spend, and it's kind of scary. But you can turn it into a party. You get $40 in freebies and 1 item at half off. And you could make your half off item, the marker pack or the an album. Like an album is about $32, and so half price is $16. You can get a really nice close to my heart album for $16. And when you pick your freebies, you can pick from inks or papers, card workshops, scrapbooking workshops, stamps, blocks, markers, or the Picture My Life card. And I just wanted to show that to you because you get more than just the album pages. Not that that's not enough. You also get page protectors for all of these. And it was a 2-day thing. This was kind of the schedule. So Friday, basically, it was like a 10-hour day, but there was a lot of breaks the first day, which really helped me. The second day, 10 to 6:30, like an 8-hour thing. And I thought, oh my gosh, they had 5 minutes between each session. And I thought, holy cow, that was an intense day. At the end of the day, I was like, I just needed a break. So it was a lot, but I wanted to show you the pages we made because they are so amazing. So it's hard to see a 2-page layout on here. So I'm going to show you. There's like page 2, page 1. They like mirror each other. This whole butterfly thing was a whole Cricut cut. And then we glued papers onto the back to have them show through that Cricut cut. And we used a lot of foam tape. So you might, consider stocking up on foam tape before. And then stickers. It came with a couple of sticker packs. It came with different glitter gems. And it came with a special stamp set that we used on every single page. So some of the pages used this side, this one, and some of them used this one. So this was like a 2 stamp set deal. Lots of letters and tags and things like that. So I thought pretty amazing. And it came with a pack of buttons. I really loved this page. Okay, so there's one. The next one, it was called Inspired, and they had several different quotes to pick from, and you could pick whatever you wanted, and then just leave it like that. Or someone had one of the close to my heart trainers, Karen Pedersen, had the idea of using a page of a flip page to open it up and put journaling inside or whatever here. And then the second page that went with it had the 9 squares. We probably all made a layout very similar to this at some point in our life, but they went through a lot of kind of design technique on this one, and it had a lot of bling and a lot of extra parts and pieces that we added. And I thought this one was perfect to put pictures of all my aunts and uncles, because I have 9 on my mom's side, so I thought that would be a really neat page. This page was kind of fun because, so they had a stamp in black with the flower. We elevated some of the tags on foam tape. And these tags we had thin cuts for, and so you can use that to cut your pictures and put your pictures on here. And this was supposed to say, hello, my name is whatever, and then people did a lot of different things with this. So what happens when you join the album retreat is you get like a private Facebook page and people post their ideas and how they use the layout. Some people tweaked it, they turned it sideways, they did whatever. I really loved it. We got stickles, so the buttons, you might notice, have some shimmer on them, and we stickled a lot on the pages. The next layout was called The Little Things. They showed us how to do some hand lettering. So yes, I wrote that. And I was laughing because one of the people who attended posted a giant piece of paper where she had practiced writing the word little like 100 times, trying to find one in her own writing that she really liked that she could cut out and put on there. And it was funny because I looked over and I had the same kind of thing sitting next to me where I practiced it probably 6 or 7 times just to get one that I thought was the right size and that I liked. So there's that one. And again, layering stickers and doing different techniques. And the second page of that looks like this. A lot of 3x3 photos, and you know, close to my heart is a big advocate for persnickety prints, and persnickety prints does have a lot of ways for you to make prints of different sizes. So, and they're super reasonable. This page took forever, but shouldn't have. It wasn't that bad. Basically, they had a cutout heart, and then they had all these different scallop strips, and we just, as a group, layered them on. And you can imagine that's a real work of love. That is not something you do on every single scrapbook page you make, so that's kind of exciting to have a page that is so spectacular. And, you know, I went back and I was thinking about this because, you know, we did like the rainbow colored embellishments going down, and the butterflies are kind of dimensional, and you can see that even when they're flat in a page protector. I just clip a lot of times I just clip my photo mats on because I don't know exactly how I'm going to use that page yet. But here's the second page of it, which has a lot of black photo mats, and I put this under here so you could see that technically I think it's supposed to go like this, and underneath that heart. But I just and I think I may start doing this on some of the club layouts too, is clipping the mats on so that you don't feel like you have to, like, maybe I need to use it sideways instead of up and down or whatever. I want you to have some options. There were a few pages that were single. This is one of them. And so this one surprisingly was very fast, even though it has a lot of detail to it. I really love, you know, using the stickles and stamping directly on the page and layering stamps. This had a title that goes around here, but I didn't love the title, so I did not put the title on. And I just thought, I am going to use this, not sure for what yet, but I have a little something in mind for that. This was probably, okay, when I first saw the overview of what we were going to make, this was my least favorite page because, first of all, I don't like pastels very much. I'm not a big purple fan. I don't like purple and pink together. There's a lot of things about this page I don't like. But then, when I did it, oh my gosh, there's page 2, there's page 1, and the other thing that was kind of like, I'm not sure about, is making a whole page as a title, because I feel like I lose something on my albums are already kind of fat to lose a page without pictures. So a lot of people felt that way, and they added pictures here, added pictures through here, like cut them down to fit into the letters, which is very creative. A lot of really neat things. And some people use this for like my wish for my children, my wish, you know, for, there was a lot of different takes on how people use this page, but I think this ended up being one of my favorites. Here's another one, Living It Up. This looks to me like something I would come up with. This is like more my traditional style. So interestingly, it wasn't my favorite one, but it's something that to me was a little simpler and a little quicker to put together. It was nice to have a few pages that weren't so intense. What made this one intense was making these medallions. They had them all cut out for us and then showed everybody how to put them together, how to put them on a page, how to make them thin enough so that they don't bulk things up, you know. And I really appreciated that. I also appreciated that they had some twine in the kit, and I am not a big fan of threading buttons. That's like one of the reasons I don't like to put buttons on a page very much, but some of these buttons were really easy to thread. Thank you. Right? So this one is called Highs and Lows. Highs and Lows. And I love the colors. I love the layout. I love the possibilities for it. And afterwards, my daughter and I sat around for like 20 minutes going, okay, so what would you put on that? Because that's kind of a downer. Like, you don't want to put some kind of low emotional point in your life necessarily in your book. Maybe you do. But we were like, you know, our cats or pets running around, our cats or pets asleep. I mean, you know, like highs and lows, more of an energy thing, like a super active versus not so active, laying around on the couch versus doing yard work outside. I don't know. We had a ton of ideas for this, and in retrospect, I kind of thought, I kind of wish I would have waited to put that title on, because I could have made it anything. Although this really stretched me. Like, you could tell these are things that kind of stretched my norm, but it came with stickers, and look how many are left. And a lot of vowels left. That's always my big thing, because when you have people named Steve using 2 E's, and Connie using 2 N's, and Jennifer using 2 N's and 2 E's, I mean, you need a lot of vowels if you're going to name a person. This is a 2-page spread. I did not totally finish. So this one, I thought, it's nice. There's something about the balloons. I'm not a big fan of the balloons. I almost did not put this sticker on but then since there were balloons on this page, I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And it says Life According to Me, and there's all kinds of possibilities. And I wasn't crazy about the dark like the evergreen on here. Almost left it off. And I noticed that there were people who did leave it off in their samples, and I didn't like their pages as well. So that just goes to show everything's got, a plan or whatever. Here's one, In This Moment, and this one was so beautiful. These are actually, circles that were cut and scored, and then we took each one and stamped inside and added buttons and bows and all kinds of stuff. I love this technique, and it's dimensional and it's really cool, and I really think this is worthy of being in one of my 12 by 12 frames up on the wall. So I think I may do this again, you know, even at Christmas time or something. Can you imagine how cute that would be, right? This one, this one was at the end of the day, and I just happened to have pet pictures sitting on my counter, and so I went ahead and threw some pictures on here, and it says, the stamp set says for real, so you can see for real, and I just cut it out and made it into a U and went for real, because my house is massively about the animals right now. All my animals are sick and needing around the clock care. I feel like a zookeeper. I've been calling my house the zoo and calling myself the zookeeper because I am here all the time. There's one other layout. I don't know what I did with it. I have, this is the pile of layouts that I have sitting on my desk that I worked on this week. Can you believe it? There, that's it. All right, so the other one that I did as part of this album retreat is this, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit to me because I think I'm going to do my retirement of at Carl on this page, because I have some pictures of my last day, and you know, this was page 2 where it says do more of what makes you happy, and I put the good life on there, and I thought that would be really nice for some retirement pictures. Not saying I will never work again, but definitely after 33 years in oncology, that was a day to celebrate. So anyway, those are workshop from the Blue Sky. Sorry, I threw those in there. All right. Woo! What do you think? That is a lot of pages for a 2-page thing. So you can imagine how exhausting that is. And at the same time, you can see that we accomplished an awful lot. And it was really cool. So when the album retreat comes up again, you can decide if you think it would be worth your time, worth your energy. The only thing I can say is you really need a block of time where you're not interrupted constantly, and you need a lot of adhesive. So, all right. Happy afternoon, and I will chat with y'all later. Bye.